All right, everybody, what is going on? Hey, welcome back to the channel. Today we have some news to go over, a little bit of breaking news not too long ago. Actually, you know, it was technically kind of back around noon, but we have some training camp news to go over. And so let's go ahead and dive into that. So let's start off with the small news. Or I guess it's not small, but it is it's news nonetheless. So Amari Cooper's considered day-to-day after leaving Cleveland's practice early on Sunday due to a minor tweak. So Fantasy Impact here says this is brought to us by fantasypros.com as well. Cooper sustained a minor tweak of some kind during Sunday's practice, but it is not thought to be a serious issue and is considered day-to-day for now. I wonder what this is, though. I wonder if this is like a hamstring issue, and if it is, and it's funny how they don't really tell us what it is. It's not related to the core surgery he had earlier this offseason. Okay, so we know it's not that. I wonder if this is a hamstring, because here's the thing: if this is a hamstring, if this is like a minor tweak of the hamstring, this is concerning for me considering Cooper's age. So I don't really have too many shares of Cooper, obviously, and so I'm not in panic mode, you know, or I'm not too worried about this at all anyways, because I don't really have much shares of Amari Cooper. But I will say, if this is like a hamstring issue, given his age, I would be a little concerned. I think he has a little bit of a history of hamstring issues as well. Let me check real quick to be exact. Yeah, he's had a history of a little bit. He hasn't had a huge history of it, but he's had a ton of ankle injuries, obviously. He's had a sports hernia. That was actually that would have been at the end of last year. But he has had he's had two hamstring issues 2 years ago, if you guys remember. So not last year, but the year before that. They were only grade 1 hamstring issues, and they were really a month apart. One was October 3rd, the other was November 3rd. And you know, who knows what this is? They don't tell us anything. They're not telling us what the tweak is, and maybe it's a tweak of the ankle. And if that's the case, he has a ton of, you know, we got pedal foot sprain here, pedal foot plantar fasciitis, pedal ankle sprain grade 2, pedal ankle sprain grade 2. That was actually the same year. Another sprain in 2019, ankle sprain / pulled grade 1. That was 2019, and then he had an ankle fracture 2 years ago. So I wonder if this is a tweak of that same ankle, and this is all his right ankle, I believe. Gosh, look at all the injuries he has on the right side of his body. Pretty much all of his right leg. He's had no injuries to his left leg. So I'd be curious to find out what this is. I mean, I'm not super high on Cooper. I know he could have a decent year if Watson gets back to form. He obviously had a pretty good year last year. He is getting older, though. He is getting older. I'm not too sure if I would be heavily invested him at his price tag, basically at the end of the 3rd round. Sometimes you can get him, I guess, at the beginning of the 4th round, but we'll see, man. We'll see what comes of this. We'll see how he fares, and maybe it's nothing at all, and you know, they're just reporting it and whatever. But they just actually came out with another piece of news right here. They actually just dropped this like literally not long ago. Says Javonte Williams will not start on the training camp, or will not start training camp on the PUP list. So that's good news for Javonte Williams owners. I'm not super high on Javonte. and I don't think anybody really should be. He does have a pretty good discounted price, I guess, considering his circumstances, but says avoiding the pup list continues the drumbeat of him being ready for the season, which he alluded to earlier in July when he said he would be ready to go. Although this is a positive sign, it remains to be seen how cautious the Broncos will be with him in training camp. If he is 100% for week 1, he will look to build upon 8,000 total yards he gained in his rookie season back in 2021. I find it hard to believe that, like, this guy is, and look, if we remember, Barkley was ready to go. Barkley was ready to go his year back from the ACL and the MCL or whatever, but Barkley broke down with another injury, okay, that same year. And so do we see something similar happen here? I don't know. And I don't know if look, if you're going to go get Javonte, and especially best ball, in best ball, I think he's a little less risky, I guess, to a sense, because you have other guys that can get put into the starting lineup without you having to set the lineup. If you go draft this guy in a regular league, like your main league that you guys do in person or whatever, this guy better be your third running back, is all I'm going to say. He better be RB number 3, because you better have 2 other guys that you have in play. It's just going to be good for insurance policy wise. Yeah, if we go back and look at Barkley's first season back in 2021, he got off to a rough start, 3.2 fantasy points against Denver opening week. Washington, he had just below 9 points. This is obviously in my sleeper league, so he could have had maybe a couple more, because my sleeper league is half PPR. But then he got going. He had 18 against Atlanta week 3, 30 against New Orleans. He ended up scoring a rushing and receiving touchdown that week, 74 yards receiving, 52 yards rushing. Got 30 points. But then he had that injury against Dallas. Right? And it was a complimentary injury, basically, because of him coming off of the knee surgery, more than likely. And so and then he ended up missing pretty much the middle stretch of the season. He missed the middle stretch of the season because of injury. I forget what injury it was. Was it the ankle? I believe it was the ankle, if I'm not mistaken. Let me just double check this for you guys, because I forget, man. It's been a couple years. I do remember. I mean, I'm not just blowing smoke, guys. I know. I forget. I mean, I didn't know him that year, so I don't. What was it? Yeah, it was the ankle, right? Yeah, the ankle. Yeah, he ended up having the ankle issue. And so, and then he came back week 11, finished off the year, but he didn't finish off very strong. 8 points, 7, 10, 17, and he had 8, 3.3, 12.2, and then the last week he had 6.4. So he was obviously a bust. Barkley was a bust that year because he was coming back off of the MCL and the ACL tear. He had the MCL sprain grade 2 and then the ACL tear grade 3. And Saquon tore that ACL in week 2 against the Chicago Bears. He had an okay performance against Pittsburgh that first week or whatever, but it was week 2 against Chicago. back in 2020, and then so in 2021 he was ready to go, but he got off to a rocky start. He had a couple of good games, and then he had the complimentary injury in week 5. Okay. So Javonte Williams, on the other hand, Javonte Williams made it further in the season last year than what Barkley did in 2020. So and I'm just, look, and I'm not going to go on record and say that like Javonte is a better running back than Saquon. I don't think he is. Saquon is by far a better running back than Javonte, and it's really not close. As far as an athletic profile, he's way more athletically gifted. This isn't too far apart. You're talking 2 years. You're talking 2 years apart from these two things happening. I would say the science behind the recovery of it is fairly similar from 2020 to 2022. So I'm just willing to bet, man. I'm willing to bet that look, if Javonte's ready to go, man, they better be cautious with him. They better be cautious, and I think they will to a degree. They're gonna have to, because they signed P. Ryan. They gave him some pretty decent money for a backup running back. He's one of the highest paid backup running backs in the league right now. They are going to use him, apparently similar to the way that Sean Payton used McCaffrey back in New Orleans. I just don't see something happening. I don't see something happening to where, like, he avoids getting banged up. You know what I mean? And look, it doesn't matter if he started on the PUP list or if he didn't start on the PUP. I don't think it matters, to be honest. Like, I know Breece started on the PUP list and people are worried about Breece, but Breece is on the active PUP list. They can take him off tomorrow if they want. Who knows when they'll take him off? We'll see. Like, if they take him off later this week, then, like, it wouldn't even, like, we weren't even freaking out this past week whenever they said he was on the active PUP list. At least I'm not. There's obviously other people out there who are, but if I have Javonte, if I'm gonna go get Javonte at all, which I have a couple shares of him, I don't have a ton of shares of him in best ball. I don't think I'm gonna get him in my main league. I don't think I'm gonna go that route. I'm gonna be a little safer. I think he's got a little more injury risk, re-injury risk than Breece Hall does. But if I go get Javonte, I will 100% make sure I have P. Ryan. The only problem is now is that it's really kind of tough to get both of them, because P. Ryan is starting to go earlier. They almost kind of go roughly in the same round. If you are on either end of the board, if you have the first pick or if you have the last pick in a draft, you're going to be hard pressed to get both of them unless you draft them back to back, because once you draft your two players at the one spot, you got to wait 22 picks between your picks. And so, with Javonte right here, with Javonte, I am, I wouldn't say I'm avoiding him, and this is good news, but at the same time, remember, Barkley came back. He got off to a good start week 3 and week 4, and then he had another injury come up. Okay, and it's good that he's not starting on the PUP list here. This is from James Palmer on Twitter. And so, but I'm still being cautious, man. I'm still being cautious with this. So, like I said, I want Pirine to go with this guy if I draft him in best ball, or even I guess in a regular league. If you know, if you're in a regular redraft or whatever, or auction league or whatever, I'm drafting him, and I'm trying to get Pirine as well, because you're not gonna be happy if you don't, and something happens to him, and he ends up missing some time. And I think even though, and here's another thing that people aren't talking about with Javonte, is that he is going to be probably splitting carries, splitting work with Pirine for the most part. It's going to be close to about a 50-50, maybe 55-45, similar to what he was doing with Melvin Gordon. I don't see any scenario where he comes back and he's fully healthy and he stays healthy and he plays the whole year, and he, at least for the first half of the season, he doesn't, surrender a substantial amount of workage to Pirine. And that's another thing people aren't looking into. And so that's also going to limit his fantasy upside, I think, to a degree. We know what kind of back he is whenever he is splitting 50-50, because we've seen it. Like, we know what kind of back he is. He wasn't terrible in 2021, but he was running back 17 in PPR, which isn't bad. He didn't cap over 200 points. I guess he maybe could have. I don't know if he did. Well, yeah, he didn't cap over 200 points in PPR. I don't think so. I had 190.4. Of course, our league has some bonus points here and there. We don't, but ours is also half PPR. So he maybe could have scratched close to 200 points. I don't know. I don't think so. But, he had a couple of good games his rookie year against my Chiefs. 28.8, 20.8 against Detroit. Thank you. Or can you stick it in the microwave? I'm gonna be a minute. And so we know what kind of running back he could be. But if you go back and look at his rookie year, it's not somebody you are getting him in round 8. I will say you're getting him in round 8 more than likely. Maybe round 9 if you're, I doubt it though. So it's understandable that, if you look at his value, you're like, okay, I want to get this guy, but I still think you should be getting Pirine. And you may not be able to get Pirine right now in a underdog fantasy football contest. So we'll touch more back on Javonte. Let's go back to the news here. The big piece of news we haven't even really got to it yet. Let's get to it now. Kadarius Toney was held out of practice Sunday. That's today, allowing Sky Moore, Justin Ross, Richie James to get additional reps with the attention on the first day of the Kansas City Chiefs training camp. According to Pete Sweeney of Arrowhead Pride, he injured his knee fielding punts prior to the start of practice. I'm kind of surprised they have him back there fielding punts, or I don't know if he was just doing this on his own, or if this is kind of like a similar role. I don't know if they have him returning punts this year or not. To be honest, I know they had Sky Moore back there for a while. I think they did have Toney back there a little bit last year, if I'm not mistaken. Obviously, with the departure of Tyreek Hill and McCole Hardman. McCole Hardman used to be that guy. I honestly don't even, I don't even understand why, if they think he is going to be the number 1 receiver, like they're talking it up to be, right? Which I don't think he was going to be, but there's people out there that were saying, oh, this is going to, Mahomes is saying this is going to be our guy. We're looking to see what Toney can be if he's the number 1 guy this year. Everybody's talking to him. Why do they have him back there returning punts if that's the case? Your number 1 receivers don't return punts, okay? Unless it's like a special circumstance, like in a game or something. Like whenever Tyreek became our number 1 receiver, he would never return punts, basically, once that became official and he was like the guy. They put McCole Hardman back there, they put somebody else back there because of the injury risk. They would throw him back there to return one if we needed a big play out of him, say like in a game, late in the game, and we got them to punt or whatever, and so okay, throw Tyreek back there. We might need a special play, and this would be a moment where he could provide that, But I have no idea why, if they're talking this guy up to be number one receiver on the team, blah blah blah. Why are they doing that? Because they're already going to be using him in this, special circumstances on the offense where they got him running in motion, going behind the line of scrimmage. You're basically using him in that Tyreek Hill fashion. So, and then on top of that, you're going to have this guy returning punts. Now, like I said, I don't know if he was just doing this to warm up before practice or whatever, but this is probably not something he should be doing, considering his injury history, okay? And considering the fact that you expect him to take on a larger role in the offense this year. Severity of this injury is unknown. So yeah, this is a fantasy impact here. Severity of this issue or this injury is unknown, but it is not great to start training camp given Toney's injury history. They need to build rapport with the quarterback. Toney is the highest ranked Chiefs wide receiver according to Fantasy Pros ECR. That's their consensus rankings for those of you guys who don't know. It's not yet to be determined who will be Mahomes' primary target from the receiving core, and likely second in the pecking order behind tight end Travis Kelce. Toney has a lengthy injury history and needs to stay healthy in order to lead this crowded wide receiver room. I was talking about this, about how this guy was going too early in drafts, and I still stand by the fact that he's injury prone. I talked about that. And look, I like this guy. I am a Chiefs dude, okay? I root for the Chiefs. I live in Kansas City, but this guy's been injured so frequently. I didn't understand why he was going so early, and it was because they were talking him up to be the number one receiver. Juju left town, blah blah blah. Toney still like Kelce was always going to be the number one guy no matter what. We already knew this. And Toney, in my opinion, he's a head case. Okay, he's a head case. This guy got trolled on Twitter so bad this past month or two. It's been terrible. I mean, this guy is I can't put my chips into the middle of the table on somebody like this guy. I just can't do it. I cannot do it. This guy has been riddled with injuries, and now here we go again in training camp. We don't know the severity of it. They're saying it's his knee. And if it's his knee, that's not good because he's had knee injuries. He's had a prior knee injury. this is why I cautioned with him. This is why I have two shares of this guy. I'll show you guys. I'm not lying to you guys. I will put my money where my mouth is, dude. I am not lying to you. I have 2 shares of this guy on Underdog. That's it. Because I couldn't get over drafting him ahead of guys like Dotson, ahead of right when Cam Akers is right there, when Addison is. I would rather have Addison, even though Addison obviously speeds, and he's trying to ruin his career before it starts. At least we don't have to worry about something like this. I don't think with Addison for the most part. He doesn't have the same history that Kadarius Toney has. But right here. If I'll show you guys my here you go. I have 144. Look at my exposure. I don't have any exposure of Toney. I haven't really been talking about. Look, I have 2 shares of him right here. 2 shares, 1.4% drafted. They were in $5. Yeah, they were in $5 leagues, so they're probably in one of the puppies. Tweaked his knee while shagging punts before Sunday's training camp practice. Yeah, it's like, what, this guy's he's had this history, man. And look, it may not turn out to be serious. He may be ready to go, but I would be cautious of it, man, come the start of the season. And maybe it's nothing. Maybe he plays week 1. He's ready for the season. Blah, blah, blah. But this guy's been on a carousel of injuries. Carousel of injuries over the years. And he's only been in the league, what? This is his 3rd year? So, I mean, this guy's got more injuries than... This guy almost, like, I'm looking at this guy's injury report, and it's almost very, very similar. It's very, very similar to, like, I just got done looking at Cooper. I just got done looking at Amari Cooper's injury history, and this guy's injury history it's close. The only difference is that Amari Cooper's 30 years old. This guy's in year 3. Hold on 1 second. Like I said, I've been kind of avoiding this guy for the most part, and you know that's pretty much why. That's pretty much why, right there. And that's why I only have 2 shares of him. I've taken him a couple of times because of, you know, I've had, you know, I'm pretty sure. I almost wish I could look which team it was that I had him on. I know one of the teams I had Kelsey and Mahomes, and so I just went for the stack. And really, I think both times I've had at least Kelsey and Mahomes, or at least Mahomes on my team. 100%. And so that's kind of the reason why I got him. I still would rather have Sky Moore, because I think Sky Moore is just as talented potentially and gets just as much work, but he's at a cheaper price tag. Now, obviously, Sky Moore's price tag has come up. He's like a round 9 guy now. He used to be like round 11. If you got Sky Moore way back when he was going like round 11, then you are in business. But and obviously, you know, round 9's not terrible for Sky Moore, but obviously it's not nearly as good as round 11. But this guy, man, I'm not even shocked, to be honest, that I'm not shocked. I'm not shocked that he's injured already, because we knew this. I mean, we knew this, man. We knew that there was a good chance of this happening. And so, like I said, I'm not shocked. This guy's injury history, let's go over it here. He's a very high risk according to Draft Sharks, okay? Very high, which we know that. But he had pedal ankle. So these are ankle sprains basically. When I say pedal ankle sprain / pull, it was an ankle sprain. This is, you know, I wonder which knee this is. I wonder if it's his right knee or if it's his left knee. He had a knee tear May 21st of 2022, so not even a little more than a year ago. It was after last year, or I shouldn't say last year. It was after 2 years ago. So it was after the Rams won the Super Bowl. He has a leg quad strain, and then he has a thigh hamstring strain, grade 2. Thigh hamstring strain, grade 1, and another one, grade 2, all in the same year, pretty much. And then he's got an abdominal strain, and he's got shoulder injuries. He's got 4 shoulder injuries. I mean, this guy's injury history is crazy. He's a very high risk according to draft charts, which is not shocking. He's going to be based off of his history. I mean, I'll show this to you guys. I'll show it to you guys. Right here. This is courtesy of draft charts. Look at this laundry list of injuries right here. Dating back from 2017 in college all the way to now. And then they don't even have the injury now that they had that just happened today up here. So this is this guy's injury guide. I mean, look at this. This guy's a walking injury waiting to happen. And this is why I just wasn't as high on him, because he tweaked his knee. You guys can't see it right here. He tweaked his knee per Andy Reid. I'm curious to know which knee it is, because if it's this knee, I'm really concerned, to be honest. Actually, I'm concerned either way, but I said that this guy was going too early in drafts, and this is why. One, he hasn't proven anything, okay? Which I know could or could not mean anything, but even last year, we can go back and look at last year's game log. I'll show it to you guys. This is his game log last year. It's nothing to be like blown away at. Like, oh my God, this guy is a diamond in the rough. I don't think he is a diamond in the rough, to be honest. I don't think he is. He didn't play hardly any snaps. The snap percentages were down. $11 points here, 8, 7, okay, 1, 0, 17 points there, okay. And I get that that's on 44% of the snaps, so that's pretty good. That's pretty good. He had a decent game, but and this was decent on the snap. But look, he had the same percentage of snaps here. He's a boom or bust guy for the most part, and he's a walking injury waiting to happen on top of that, because the history's there. And that's why I don't think this guy should have been going at the... There was guys who were taking this guy in the 5th round. There were guys out there who were taking this guy in the 5th round.
Come on, man.
Like... And then obviously he was basically falling at the end of the 6th. You used to kind of get him in the 7th. I wouldn't even say he's a 7th rounder anymore. He doesn't go in the 7th round. He doesn't. He goes in round 6. He goes in round 6 steadily now, and it's way too high. I thought round 7 was too high. I was like, I would be willing to take him in like round 8 to 9ish, but you would never get him there. I think there's been a couple of times I've seen him fall to round 8, but gosh, man, it is. This is the game log that we're looking at right here. It's nothing to be like, oh my gosh, this guy. I don't get it. It's overreaction from everybody from some of the reports about him, like, oh, he's going to be the number 1 receiver. No, he's not, because Kelsey's the number 1 receiver. This guy will not see number 1. This guy will not see number 1 receiver targets or receptions. There's no chance. There's no chance. And so, gosh, man, I'm not, like I said, I'm not shocked at this news. Maybe it's nothing, maybe it's not. But then again, given his injury history, I am not buying. I'm not buying, and I haven't been a buyer. I'm not here flip flopping back on you guys like, oh, I used to buy him a ton and now I'm not buying. I showed you guys. I only have 2 shares of this guy. I took this guy in the Yahoo League the other day because I got him in like round 13. Okay, because Yahoo League is just, it's stupid or whatever. Nobody knows what they're doing, and as far as the draft goes, because their rankings are all messed up. Like, I would be willing to take him in round 13. Whenever I drafted him on the Yahoo League. Because we're talking about round 13. That's like, okay, that's low risk. I gain the upside with basically no risk, because if something like this happens, it's like, okay, I just dump him anyways because I got Watson, I got St. Brown, I got Ridley, I got all these other guys. I have 4 number 1 receivers basically that are on their number 1 receivers on their teams, on my team, so I don't even have to worry about this guy if something happens. And so that's why I took him. But in underdog, I have 2 shares of him, 2 shares right here. That's it. And that is a ton of teams that I've drafted. These are all the teams I've drafted right here. A ton of teams. Right here. This is how many teams I have right here. I have 2 teams where I have him on. That's why it's at, yeah. That's why it's at 1.4% right here. So, like I said, man, that's the news for us today. Talking about Toney, Javonte. We'll probably go over Javonte a little bit later. A little bit later down the road. It's good that they didn't put him on the active pup list to start training camp. That's a good sign for people. But then again, like I said, and honestly, I would almost, to a degree, I'd be more worried really about like Toney than I would be Javonte, maybe, if I'm being honest. Because Toney has, look at this laundry list right here. Look at this laundry list of injuries. He had 3 injuries in college. They were all shoulders. He missed most of training camp. All right, so remember this. He missed training camp. He missed most of training camp because of this hamstring back his rookie year. That's probably what led to a lot of these other complementary, injuries. And so, yeah, and seeing going back to Javonte, I'll show you guys Javonte. The reason why I'm not as high on Javonte is like, look at this. So once again, I'll break it down for you guys again. And I know it could, maybe his recovery was a little bit better than what Barkley's was. But we go back to Barkley. Barkley in 2020 got injured in week 2. Okay, he got injured in week 2. Javonte got injured in week 4, so a couple weeks later. Not a huge timeline difference, but still a couple weeks is a couple weeks. Barkley had a ACL tear grade 3 and an MCL tear grade 2. Javonte has an ACL tear grade 3 and an LCL tear grade 3. Okay, and so look, there's a chance that he's ready to go. They say he's ready to go. There's a chance that they play him week 1. Maybe he gets off to a decent start just like Barkley did. Like, remember, this is Barkley here. Barkley got off to a good start his first 4 weeks. From he got off to a slow start week 1 and week 2. Week 3 and week 4 he started picking up, and then he had a complementary injury. With the ankle. He ended up missing time in the middle of the season. He came back, but he was never the same. It took him this whole year to get over that injury, and then he could do what he did last year, and that should come back and be a solid number 1 running back in fantasy. And I think it's going to be similar. It's going to be similar for Javonte. Javonte's, he's going to be splitting time with Pirine. They're going to use Pirine, I think, quite a bit. They paid him the money, and so that tells you they're going to use him quite a bit. And even if he does stay healthy, like I said, with the splitting time, the caution that I would hope that they use with him, he's not going to be. And look, I get it. Barkley was going a lot earlier 2 years ago than what he was, than what Javonte is. Javante's going around 8, but I would still want to handcuff Javonte and handcuff, Pirine with him. Just to make sure, just to be, just to have some insurance and be on the right side of things if something goes bad. And so that's my take on it. You know, it's the only injury he's had. I guess he had, technically a small MCL pull, grade 1, back in college when he was playing for Carolina. But yeah, going back to Toney though, man, we're gonna wrap this up. We're gonna jump into a draft. They have these Pomeranian Superflex leagues, so we're gonna jump into one of those. Let's wrap up this news. That's your news today. We'll still talk about it if anybody wants to talk about it, but I am going to jump into an underdog draft right now. Pomeranian Superflex League. And let's do it. If you guys want to draft with us, remember you guys can go to underdogfantasy.com. You guys can register, sign up, use promo code The Show. The Show is what the Underdog Fantasy Football Show, that is their promo code. They will match up your first deposit of up to $100. I use their promo code. I give you guys their promo code so you guys have one. I don't have one. I'm not sponsored by them by any means, but I do enjoy to draft on their site, and so I highly recommend you guys use their site to do a fantasy football best ball draft. I also do drafts on DraftKings every now and then as well, but I mainly do them here on Underdog. I actually just got done drafting one of these. I just got done drafting one of these. We did a Superflex a little bit ago offline, and I'll show you guys what I got here. Let me go to full screen so you guys can see this. So we ended up getting, yeah, this is actually a really good one right here. This might have been one of my best drafted teams. This is actually last night. We got Hurts and Burrow, Stevenson, Pierce, AJ Dillon, McKinnon, Ty Chandler, Chase Brown. We got Jamar Chase. This was from the number 2 pick. DJ Moore, Tyler Boyd, Zay Jones, Van Jefferson, Jaden Reed, Quez Watkins, and then we got Goddard, Kincaid, and Knox at tight end. So that was a really good team for us, actually. This was a Pomeranian, though. This wasn't the Superflex. I don't know where the Pomeranian but Superflex is. I don't see it. All right, it's coming up on our pick. We got to go to this. Let me move the camera down here to the bottom left. Obviously, all the quarterbacks are going. It is Superflex. So I had a number 1 pick last time. I ended up going Hurts. We ended up getting Hurts, Goff, and St. Brown with the first 3 picks. All right, we are on the clock. Looks like they left us Trevor Lawrence by mistake, and so we will go ahead and take that route. I think I'm going to get a little bit of Deshaun Watson. Like, if he's there, I'm going to take him, but he may not be there. But I'm going to start getting a little bit of Deshaun Watson in some of these. Like, once we go back to a single QB contest, I might get some Deshaun Watson. I think I have a little bit of him, but not enough, I don't think. All right, this goes McCaffrey, Kelsey. It's kind of weird. He's got 2 on the board. Cousins. is a pretty easy pick for me if this guy leaves this guy on the board, which he does. I'm gonna go Cooper Kupp. Tyreek Hill's also there, but I'm not gonna get Tua because Tua obviously just went. So I'm gonna go Cooper Kupp right here. See if we can get Matthew Stafford on the other side, or maybe even in round 4 we might actually be able to wait on Stafford for a little bit here. His ADP is 39, so we might take him with the next pick. We'll see here. I don't want to wait on him too long and miss out, obviously, especially when I got this guy right here who has no quarterbacks. So probably end up going Stafford here to go with Kupp. This is actually a pretty good start from the 10 spot. We haven't done any super flex videos in a while, and we actually haven't done any super flex drafts in a while, really. I like I said, I did one a little bit earlier, right before I went live on the news, but this is kind of the first, really the second one I've done in a while. So strategy obviously is to take quarterbacks early, especially if you're in the top 7. You pretty much go any of these guys, I think. Right here is where you have a little bit of a decision to make. I like what this guy did. If you go Jefferson, you want to get Cousins. If you go Chase right here, I mean, it's tough to pass up on Tyreek Hill right there, but maybe you get a quarterback. This guy went Hurts and AJ Brown. You could go Hurts, AJ Brown, or Devontae Smith here, whoever you like, and you probably grab another quarterback on the other side of this. I like to grab Goff. Like, I went Goff and St. Brown right here because I think St. Brown's better than AJ Brown this year. So that's like what I did from the number 1 spot. I took Hurts and then I went St. Brown and Goff. I went for the QB receiver stack. You don't have to stack. There's a small advantage to it in best ball. Not a huge advantage, but like this guy could have went Rodgers and Garrett Wilson, but he went Stephon Diggs instead. This guy was probably counting on Stephon Diggs here, more than likely. He got Geno. Ends up taking CeeDee Lamb though. So that's kind of the strategy at the beginning here. If you're in the back half though, you're just gonna have to, I mean, you can maybe hope for somebody like, I mean, you're ultimately gonna end up going like Derek Carr or Stafford or Russ probably down here as your second QB. You may have to settle for Jordan Love if these guys go quick, but this guy's not going to take another quarterback, I don't think. Wizard, the guy in front of me, will take one. We'll see what Cold does. I don't think he will. I don't think he's going to take a quarterback. So now if St. Brown's there, it's going to be tough to take. To me, it's going to be tough to take a quarterback if St. Brown is there. We'll see if he stays there, though. I doubt it, because I don't think this guy will take him. I don't think this guy's going to take St. Brown. I'm not worried. I'm not really worried about running backs at all in Superflex. I like to wait. I pretty much like to wait as long as possible. Well, I wouldn't say as long as possible, but I like to wait fairly more than the average person. I usually wait till at least round 4. This draft, I'm probably going to wait till round 5. We'll see. It just depends if this guy takes Stafford or not. I'm hoping he does not take Stafford. There goes Carr. Take Russ. No, okay, he goes Carr Olave stack. We should get Stafford right here. This guy's going to take a receiver because he needs one. I know Barkley and Pollard are on the board, but you can't. It's a super flex. You cannot. You can only wait on your second quarterback for so long, in my opinion. And so we're going to go ahead and get Stafford, pair him up with Cooper Kupp. We will wait on running back. Yeah, Barkley, Pollard, and Stevenson are at the top of the list right now. But as you guys can see, only 6 running backs have come off the board so far. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So Yeah, usually about round 5, round 6 is where I like to try to get you know, some running backs, maybe a tight end, depending on what we are trying to do. But like, I'm taking St. Brown over these running backs all day, every day. Like Taylor, Henry, Pollard, and Barkley. I'm taking St. Brown over all 4 of those guys all day, every day, twice on Sunday. And today's Sunday, so that, you know, if you guys are wondering why I took St. Brown there and not a running back, that is why. I'm just so much higher on St. Brown. And really, when you're towards the back half of the draft like this, I think you kind of have to wait on running back. I think I took running back in round 4. I think I ended up taking Gibbs here in round 4 whenever I had the number 1 pick. So I started off with St. Brown, Goff, Gibbs, and then obviously Jalen Hurts as my number 1 overall pick. So that's kind of how I started. And then I think I'd grabbed I believe I grabbed Calvin Ridley as my second receiver in round 5, I believe. I'm not quite sure. It was either round 5 or round 6. Where's Ridley at? Yeah, Ridley's off the board. So yeah, I took Ridley in round 5. I did basically the opposite of what this guy did. I went Gibbs and Ridley instead of Ridley and Gibbs. I'm gonna scroll down a little bit so you guys can see here. This guy takes Jacobs in round 5. He's got Stevenson to go with him. Daniel Jones, AJ Brown, Hurts, Josh Jacobs, Stevenson. This guy started off with no receivers, so Lamar, Jordan Love, and then he's got Bijan, Chubb, and Brees. It's a good running back combo, but he's sacrificing a receiver. So
it's a bold strategy, Cotton. Let's see if it pays off for him.
So here comes the third QB right here. Remember, these guys only have 1 QB apiece, so they probably might want to think about getting another one. I'm gonna tell you guys why it's good to wait on running back. This is why. This is why we can get Kenneth Walker. We can get Kenneth Walker as our first running back, which I don't mind at all. I don't mind at all. When I'm picking in the back of the draft and I can get Kenneth Walker in round 5 as my first running back, that's fine. That's fine with me, you know. All right, he goes 2 more quarterbacks. This guy's gonna take a quarterback probably. He goes Jerry Jeudy. I can go Watson, I can go Hawkinson, I could go London. I'll tell you what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna go Christian Watson. Give me a third receiver. We'll wait on running back again. We got one, we'll get another one, don't worry. I think it's a little bit better to have a receiver in this circumstance here. You gotta think, this guy has 3 running backs, he's got 2. This guy will get 1. He might draft one, but you know, we're hoping for Cam Akers to fall to us. I know it's a stretch. I don't think he will, but if he did fall to us, it would be very, very good, to say the least. I mean, if we get Cam Akers to fall to us, I will be celebrating. But you know what? I'll take I'll take Damian Pierce though. That's the thing. I'll settle for Damian Pierce and David Montgomery and Pacheco. I'll settle for those guys as an RB2, or really, well, one's going to be an RB2, the other's going to be RB3, because we're probably going to go double RB here once it gets back to us. So, all right, so Kittle is what, the 4th tight end to come off the board right here. This is actually good value for him, round 7. It's not bad. He's gonna be hurting on running back though a little bit. He should have maybe taken a running back. I understand the Kirk pick though. He's gonna draft probably a couple of running backs right here, so you know he won't be hurting too bad. But I don't think Gibbs is the best #1 option, even though I took him obviously from the #1 pick. I will say I got some pretty good 3rd and 4th options. I think I got Pacheco and McKinnon to go with Gibbs, and I got Pierce, and I got gosh, who was the other guy I got? Or maybe it was, I don't know if it was Montgomery or not. I think it was Pierce. I'm pretty sure I got Pierce to fall to me here. I ended up getting Pierce, Pacheco, and then I know I got McKinnon to handcuff with Pacheco as well, so. And then the other pick might have been A.J. Dillon. I don't know why I can't find that league. Let me find it here. While we're waiting. Superflex. Nope, that's the big board Superflex. Go back. Season Superflex. Here it is. Okay. All right, it's coming up on our turn to pick. So let me pick real quick and I'll show you guys what I did from the #1 spot. This is actually a really good team I got from the #1 spot, to be honest. Sam Howell is right there. Cam Akers is still there to a degree. There's so many good running backs on the board right now. Oh, he took Sanders too. Sam Howell is there too. I almost want to take him, to be honest, but I can't. All right, we're gonna get Akers because I just love Akers. I'm not gonna lie, I'm high on Akers. Akers is on the nuclear player list, and that's why I'm high on him. We'll see which one we can get here to go with him. I may take Sam Howell if he's there. If he's there. I'm not counting on him being there. This guy might take him. He's thinking about it. I don't think this guy will take him. Trying to think of what other late quarterbacks I can get here. Somebody already took Stroud. Never mind. Stroud's gone. All right, this guy did take Sam Howell, so he took another quarterback here, which is fine. We'll just gut it out with the 2 quarterbacks that we got. This guy's going to be hurting at his other positions. All right, so this is a fairly easy pick for me. I'm taking Pierce. It's not even close, to be honest. It's not even close. It's that easy. So let's go over. So this is the first Pomeranian Superflex I did. Let me go full screen for you guys so you guys can see this. So we got Hurts, we got Goff, Mike White. What's up, Zion? What's going on, man? Yeah, this is the first Pomeranian Superflex I did. Hurts, Goff, White. We got Gibbs, Pierce, Pacheco, Dillon, and we handcuffed McKinnon to Pacheco. St. Brown, Ridley, Hopkins, Dotson, Zay Jones, Reynolds, Mims, Palmer, Tillman, and decent tight end room. Not the greatest, but Schultz, Laporta, and Jawan Johnson. So that was the first one I did. This was from the number 1 spot, so obviously it was, you know, it was going to be a good team, but we're not doing too bad here. We're not doing too bad here, I don't think. From the number 10 spot, currently we are Trevor Lawrence, Stafford. We got Cup with Stafford right now. St. Brown is our number 2 receiver. Christian Watson is the number 3 receiver. Now we got Kenneth Walker, Akers, and Pierce, a running back. So this is a good team for us so far from the number 10 pick. I like this team. It's not bad. We don't really have anybody to go with Trevor Lawrence, but I believe Evan Ingram is still out there, right? Yeah, he is. We should easily get Evan Ingram. And then I think we'll take Evan Ingram if he's there, and we'll go from there. These 2 guys have tight ends, so we actually might pass on Evan Ingram and wait to get him in round 10. And if they take him, they take him. If they don't, they don't. So, because this ADP is about right where we are drafting. So we'll just have to wait and see what they do. I'm not super high on Evan Ingram, but I'll take him in this circumstance, obviously. Like, I'll take him as my first tight end. We got a lot of good picks that are still on the board. It's going to be tough to take a tight end, to be honest, though, if I have like Pacheco on the board, Dotson still on the board, and guys like Elijah Moore are there as well, probably. So we'll see. We'll see what happens. Like I said, we went over the news today, going over Toney's injury, obviously, going over Javonte Williams not being placed on the pup list, so people are probably gonna, I wonder if somebody's already taken him. Doesn't look like it. Javonte's still out there, I think. Is he still out there? Yeah, he's still out there. There he is. You might see Javonte start being drafted a little earlier. This is a little different because it's super flex, so he's not going to be drafted early. But if it was 1 QB, we probably, you know, we would have seen him go already. All right, there goes Pacheco. We don't have to worry about him. If Dotson makes it to me, I'm probably going to take him, to be honest. Dotson's ADP is 101. There he goes. We talk about him and they go. This guy's going to take a receiver here with one of his picks. The guy in the last spot, because he's only got 2. And so there goes Javonte. What do you know? We got a Toney's on the board. Anybody want Toney? Hey, does anyone want Toney after this injury? No. I'm gonna take this guy. I'm kind of high on this guy this year. Give me Elijah Moore, 4th receiver. I am gonna think about Kamara, to be honest. I see Kamara sitting there, and I kind of want him. I also see Charbonnet sitting there. I kind of want him to back up Kenneth Walker. But I also want Evan Ingram as well. I'm looking at these tight ends down here and see if I can wait on tight end. I feel like I could, to be honest. I feel like I don't have to have Evan Ingram, if I'm being quite honest. But he is there, and he would be a good piece to go with Trevor Lawrence, just in case. Just in case the stack is... See, and there goes Kamara, so we don't have to worry about that. You know, I'm not as worried about Charbonnet as other people are. I'm not as worried about it. So I'm going to take Evan Ingram. There's a good chance he could fall to us. I mean, probably not, actually, now that I think about it. His ADP is 118, so that's like right here. but I'm not as worried about Charbonnet as other people are, to be honest. I'm really not. I think the Charbonnet situation is going to be one of the biggest overreactions. Like, whenever we look back on this year and we look back at the off season and we're halfway through the season, or even like a little further along the way, I think the Charbonnet situation is going to be something we all look back on and be like, man, we blew that way out of proportion. We blew it way out of proportion, and it wasn't as significant as we thought it was going to be. That's what I think. I think Walker's a huge value as a guy who goes in the 5th round or the 6th round. We probably could have got him in round 6 if I didn't draft him early. I took him early because I wanted him and I needed a running back, but I have a very good feeling that Walker, everybody's reacting to Walker in a overreactive way based off the NFL draft. And the fact that he went from like right here, he was being drafted like right here in this area, 23 to 26, and now he goes basically, you know, he basically moved down to the 47 to 50 range in a 1 QB league to like right here. So he moved down basically, you know, his ADP basically doubled. Let's just put it that way. We went from like 23 to 46, really, or 24 to 48. And so I think it's one of the big overreactions this year. AJ Dillon, James Williams, Dalton Kincaid. Looks like Charbonnet went already. This guy took Charbonnet. That's fine. Like I said, I'm not worried about it. There's other running backs out there we can go get. Still got Brian Robinson on the board. You still have McKinnon is still out there. Khalil Herbert's still out there. Tank Bigsby is still out there. We're probably going to go get Bigsby, to be honest, with one of our picks. We got a pretty good wide receiver room. We got 2 decent quarterbacks, in my opinion. You know, it's not the greatest of quarterback combos, but it's good enough for the pick that we have, you know. And Njoku is still on the board. This is why I didn't want to take Evan Ingram, because I thought Njoku might fall. And what do you know? He's fallen. I don't know why Njoku is falling so much. To me, it's weird. All right, Brian Robinson went, Tyler Boyd went, there goes Sutton. I'm going to take Njoku because it's a value. It's a value pick. And I think one of these guys will take him. They have Mark Andrews and Kelsey. I don't want them to have Njoku with one of those guys, so we're going to go ahead and take him. This is why I did not want to take Evan Ingram, man. I thought there was a chance that Freiermuth or Njoku would fall to us. I secretly like Njoku maybe a little bit better than Ingram, to be honest. Njoku's a very, very good player when he's healthy. All right, A-Chain, Harris, Jamal Williams. I'm hoping Bigsby falls to us. I don't know if he will, but we're going to go ahead and take Sky Moore here, especially after the Toney news. I like Sky Moore. I always like Sky Moore better than Toney, okay? Let's not get it twisted. I didn't like Sky Moore. I don't like him as much when he's going down here. So Sky Moore is currently going really at the 8-9 turn right here. 95 to like 100 roughly. That's about where he's going. So it kind of sucks. Because he used to go right here in round 11. He used to go right here, literally between 121 and 128. This is where Sky Moore used to go. Obviously, I got him right here because this is super flex, but in a 1 QB, I mean, he literally went from like, I don't even know what his ADP was. Let me look. Let me look what his ADP is. I know because I've drafted him. I don't know how many shares of him I have. Let me check here. I don't have as many shares of him as I would like, obviously. I have 16 shares of him. So I have 16 shares of more and only 2 of Toney. So that just tells you guys, I was not high on Toney, obviously, to begin with. You guys know that. We don't have them in any of the $3 leagues. All right, we do have him in $5 leagues, so that would be, I'm looking here. There goes Bigsby. Look at this guy snag all my running backs, bro. It's because he waited. Yeah. This is the strategy. I mean, I think really for the most part, especially in a super flex, it's really to wait on running back. So fast puppy. Let's look at the fast puppy. I think I have Sky Moore. Maybe one of these drafts. I know I have more in a puppy. I have to have more in a puppy. I'm trying to look at what Moore's old ADP was. Is it coming up on us here? Yeah, it is. I remember there was a draft where I drafted like all of Moore's. I drafted DJ Moore, Sky Moore, and Elijah Moore. It's unfortunate that that guy took Bigsby. I knew I should have just taken him right there. I knew he wasn't gonna fall. I guess I better get Algier. And see, this is what I get for taking Ingram and then taking an Njoku. The Brady fan, yo, what's going on, Brady? Says, hey, what's going on, man? We're doing a super flex Pomeranian right now from the 10 spot. We're doing okay, but we kind of screwed up right here the last 3 picks. I shouldn't have taken double tight end right there. I'm gonna go ahead and get yeah, seeing Higbee's there, and so's Jefferson. We're gonna go ahead and take Van Jefferson. I think Van Jefferson's a good late receiver pick here. Remember, we got Cooper Kupp and we got Matthew Stafford as well. Let me look at Scott. Here it is. So here's Sky Moore right here. I have him on this team right here. His ADP was 124.1 whenever I took him, and I got him at the 132 pick. And so I got Sky Moore right here. This would have been, yeah, this is when I was drafting 12th overall. I got him at the 132 pick right here where this guy got Damian Harris. And now Sky Moore goes, you know, literally right here, like right here at the 8-9 turn. And so I still like Sky Moore, obviously, to a degree, but you're paying up for him right now. If you're in a 1 QB league, you are paying up for him in underdog. This was the puppy draft, so this would have been, God, this would have been back in like April, May-ish. This would have been a while ago. And so now, you know, now you're paying up, and you're going to be paying up even more because of the Toney news until we find out exactly what the severity of his injury is, blah, blah, blah. And so, I mean, I don't mind getting Sky Moore right here in the super flex in round 12, obviously, after I already have Elijah Moore, Watson, St. Brown, and Cup. And so, but I did, you know, I sacrificed it for Tank Bigsby. We were supposed to get Tank Bigsby. That did not happen, but it is what it is. It is what it is. If you guys are just tuning in, we went over the news. We went over Kadarius Toney. We went over his injury history. If you guys rewind back to the beginning, you guys will watch me talk about that. We talked about Amari Cooper and him leaving practice a little bit early today as well. And we also talked about Javonte Williams not beginning the training camp period on the PUP list. So, which is, you know, it's significant news. It's not crazy news, but it's important to go over. Expect his ADP maybe to rise a little bit, obviously, in the 1 QB leagues. So, not really high on any of those three players that I just talked about, but they're worth talking about just because they are guys who go kind of in important rounds. Obviously, Cooper goes at the end of round 3. Toney was pretty much a round 6 guy at this point, who may slide back down in round 7 now. And then Javonte was a round 8 guy for the most part in just about every draft. So, not bottom of the barrel type of guys. But if you guys, I mean, I can elaborate if you guys have questions. I have already basically talked about it though. So if you guys have questions, I will give you guys my thoughts about it again. But if not, you guys can rewind back and watch me go over the news and talk about those guys. Let's see, let's go. I'm gonna live and die on this guy. I mean, I've taken this guy so much. So Jaden Reed, for you guys that don't know, he is my highest player owned of any player. I have a higher percentage of exposure to him than anybody else. So, for a good reason though. I think he's a very good pick here. There goes Samuel. We need to think about another running back. I like this guy more than Mostert. You guys might question why I take Jeff Wilson over Mostert, but I like Jeff Wilson over Mostert. He's younger. I think he's got a little more left in the tank. And Mostert is like 31, 32. He's old. And so, but Mostert could be maybe the second coming of like Frank Gore. I don't know. Who knows? He might play till he's 36. I don't know. Even though nobody at his position other than like Frank Gore plays that long anymore. And obviously Frank Gore retired a little while ago, but a couple years back. Yeah, with Toney, man, leaving practice today, like I said, it doesn't surprise me. And I went over his injury history. The guy is a walking injury. Like I said, I only have 2 shares of this guy. I'm not reverting back on something I said previously. I told you guys from the beginning that I was not high on Toney. I am a Chiefs fan. Okay, I know I have a Kelsey jersey, but I live in Kansas City. I'm a Chiefs fan. I know pretty much all there is to know about the Chiefs. I follow them. I watch all of their games on, you know, whenever they're on TV. Huge Chiefs fan, but at the same time, I'm not going to be somebody who's super biased and be like, yeah, you have to go get Toney because he plays for the Chiefs. No. We've seen his injury history. We know, you know, really how inconsistent he's been over his first 2 years in the league, and really how injury prone he is. And that's why I told you guys I wasn't comfortable with where his draft position was. And that was back when he was going That was back when he was going. I mean, you guys go back and look at any of my videos back when we were drafting and going over teams. He was going about 73 to 77. He was going right here at the beginning, you know, the front half of round number 7, and that was then. Now he's going in round 6 consistently. He's going like right here where Mixon, London, Madison, DJ Moore, all these guys are. Now obviously this is super flex, so these guys wouldn't be there normally, but this is where he was going. This is about where he's going right now. And I told you guys back whenever he was going in round 7, I said I still thought it was too high. I thought he should have been going really at the 8-9 turn, which is where Sky Moore goes right now. This is where I thought Toney should have been going, but everybody was so high on him because of, you know, oh, he's going to be the #1 receiver in Kansas City now all of a sudden, even though he hasn't done nothing in a Chiefs uniform, really. He's caught a handful of passes. That's about it. I mean, they're talking this guy up like he was the next Tyreek Hill, and he's not. And he's not gonna be. And so, you know, like I said, I would take him if he was like at the end of round. You know, like I said, I have 2 shares of him. I took him whenever I think I was stacking Chiefs players. I would take him in round 8 consistently if he fell there, like the middle of round 8 to the end of round 8, but he was never going there. And so I found it hard to draft him over some of the players where he was being drafted around. And that's just the bottom line. And people can disagree or agree or whatever, you know, it is what it is. Everybody's going to have their own opinions about it, but from what I've seen, there's no evidence there to tell me, look, I know the Chiefs better than just about anybody. I know how they operate. I know how they're going to run the offense this year. I know who's going to be involved for the most part. And I don't think there's anything out there of you know, as far as evidence goes, or as far as a gut feeling goes, really, that tells us that Kadarius Toney is going to be receiving Tyreek Hill type of targets. It's just not going to happen because he's not that player. The only guy you can know for sure who's going to get a boatload of targets, and that's if he stays healthy, obviously, is Travis Kelce. But the receivers, 1 week it's going to be this guy, another week it's going to be this guy, another week it's going to be him, it's going to be this other dude we've never heard of. That's the way it is right now in Kansas City until they find that guy. And I don't know if we have found that guy yet. Maybe at some point Rashee Rice could be that guy. I don't think it'll be this year, obviously, but there's a potential it could be. But look, they're going to spread the ball to everybody. It's up, you know, Kelsey's going to get his, but everybody else is going to be, it's going to be spread around just like last year. And so that's why I'm a little bit off the train as far as how high people are on him because of that reason. So and because of where his ADP is. His ADP is too high. And I've been saying it. Man, I guess we'll take this guy. Get us another back. Maybe it's a dart throw. It's a shot in the dark. We'll see. Maybe something happens to Mixon. I don't know. Even if something happened to Mixon, I don't even know if this guy's going to get the opportunity I think he should get. We'll see. All right, we got 2 more picks here. We got round 19 and 20. Looks like we still only have 2 quarterbacks. We got Lawrence and Stafford as our super flex. Walker, Akers, Dameon Pierce, Algier, Jeff Wilson, Brown. So see, if I would have just got Tank Bigsby, man, I would have been a little happier with this team. Receiver room's good though. Cup, St. Brown, Watson, Elijah Moore, Sky Moore, Van Jefferson, Jaden Reed, Isaiah Hodgins. That's like as good of a receiver room as I could ask for. And then we got Ingram and Njoku at tight end. So not too bad at tight end either. We sacrificed a running back or 2 though. I'm not gonna lie. Not gonna lie to you guys. The good news is that we're doing really good on bye weeks. We don't really we're not hurting super bad in bye weeks as far as I mean, Walker's 5, Akers is 10, Pierce is 7. So the fact that all 3 of those guys have different bye weeks is good. We should have, you know, we're going to have 2 of them each week, no matter what, as long as they stay healthy. I thought about Zamir White. That guy just took Zamir White. I was actually thinking about Zamir White, to be honest, in case something happens with Jacobs. Let's go to top right corner here. I'm probably gonna be done after this. I'm gonna jump off, and tomorrow at some point I think I'm gonna do another stream or a video. We'll see. I'll probably just do a stream. We'll do a ESPN draft at some point during probably during the early afternoon, and we'll see what kind of messed up rankings and ADPs they have on ESPN, and we'll compare and contrast maybe our ESPN and our Yahoo league. ESPN is a little different. I think they're full PPR instead of half PPR, so it's kind of the only difference. And then I also want to go over auction stuff tomorrow. We'll go over that tomorrow as well, maybe afterwards. So I'll probably do a couple more Superflex League drafts here for the Pomeranian tonight. I might record one and we'll make a video over it, going over strategy and stuff. And obviously we'll have to see what pick we get and stuff, so we won't know until we know what pick we are. Kareem Hunt went. Some of these tight ends are going. Probably need to draft another quarterback here. We're good on a receiver. We can maybe use another tight end here. We'll see who's left. I don't know who's left. Tight ends are flying off the board. There goes another one. We're gonna take this guy. I think this guy plays a little bit. I think Minshew will play a little bit in Indianapolis to a degree, so why not? Let's take him. Yeah, I think I'm gonna take another running back too now. I think we're just gonna settle for those 2 tight ends, and that's just kind of the price that we pay. And let's go with this guy. There's a chance this guy could see a little bit of, well, you know, he sees a little bit of playing time, but you know, you never know. Something happens to Eckler, we're gonna take Josh Kelly here, as long as this guy doesn't take him. As long as Joey doesn't take him, which he doesn't. So we're gonna take Josh Kelly, get him as another running back. And so our team, as follows over here underneath of me right here on the right side. We got Trevor Lawrence, Matthew Stafford, Gardner Minshew, and running back we got Kenneth Walker, Akers, Pierce, Algier, Jeff Wilson, Chase Brown, Josh Kelly, and then a receiver we got Cooper Kupp, St. Brown, Watson, Moore, Elijah Moore, Sky Moore, Van Jefferson, Jaden Reed, Isaiah Hodgins. This is actually a really good receiver room for me. I actually like that. And then Ingram and Njoku at tight end, not too bad. We got a little bit of stacking, not much, but a little bit. We got some Rams players. We got Jacksonville tight end and Lawrence. And then everywhere else, though, not really any stacking options, just kind of best player available for us. So with that being said, man, I will catch you guys tomorrow. Like I said, we're going to do an ESPN draft, and we're going to go over some auction stuff. We're going to go over projections, my rankings and stuff. We'll just dive into it. So if you guys are in auction, tomorrow's going to be the time to tune in. We will go over auction. I'll go over my auction league, kind of dissect it down a little bit, and then we'll also talk about the projections that they have on the Sleeper app and the projections that I have. Of course, mine are going to be a little different because they're kind of based off of my league, but we will go over that tomorrow as well at some point. Let's see what the projections are here. They got me projected at 3,000. That's not bad. A little more than 3,000. So highest, there's two guys that have like 3,200. A little more than 3,200. All right, guys. Well, I hope you guys enjoyed today's stream, and if you guys did, be sure to leave a like, subscribe to the channel if you are new, and we will catch you guys tomorrow, probably early afternoon. Like I said, ESPN League and auction stuff. I am out of here. You guys have a good one. Peace out.